Sure, Lyman, I'm starting.
Hi everyone, a very good evening. Thank you very much for joining. So we are about 12 of us right now, and some of them are viewing live from Facebook. So let's wait for another minute or two so that we can all get settled down. Meanwhile, you can let us know how was your lunch? What did you have for lunch today? Hi, Mary. Mary says rice and sambar. Okay. How about the rest? How was your lunch? I hope everyone had a great lunch. Suman says noodles. Okay. Nice. Padma says I had rice, sambar, and yam vegetable. That's really great, Padma. Um, all right, yeah, we can kickstart now. So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for joining us this Friday evening. And welcome to today's masterclass on Unraveling Sustainable Development Goals 5 in the present scenario. Um, yeah, so if you are aware, this masterclass is conducted by Trainer Tribe every Friday on Zoom. And if you are not yet part of Trainer Tribe, please feel free to join us. We are on Facebook. I will share you the link toward the end of the session. And Trainer Tribe is an online learning community. So yeah, it is open group for everyone on Facebook. Uh, uh, in order to stay updated about all the communications of master classes, and also uh, we do share lots of curated content. So yeah, please feel free to be part of Trainer Tribe on Facebook. And please mute yourself for the entire duration. I know that you are muted right now, and please feel free to ensure that you are muted so that we do not get distracted by any background noise, and so that we can have a very interesting conversation throughout. But please feel free to use the chat box. You can feel free to leave all your opinions, your comments, your questions. You can keep it buzzing throughout. If you're joining us for the first time, so Quest Alliance is non-profit organization. We foster 21st century skills among young people by transforming learning ecosystems across the school to work continuum. And Quest Learner focused programs are designed to meet key gaps in the school to work continuum by using educational technology, capacity building, partner collaborations, and advocacy to create a real impact that changes lives. So we have impacted at scale through partnerships about 1,641 government schools, 4 lakh plus students, by 10% increase in school attendance in about 9 states. We have also worked with about 40 plus training partners, 400 plus training industrial training institutes, 6 state government MOU signed, reached about 1,30,000 young people in about 12 states. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our donors and partners for actually spreading the words and getting you folks around here, and also for their continuous support. Coming to today's main part of the session, so we have Anthony with us, and we are very excited and happy to have Anthony with us again. He had also spoken in this very masterclass last year, and if you would like to check out, there is the recorded version in YouTube. Go to the Quest Alliance YouTube page and just go to the Trainer Tribe playlist. You will find his masterclass there. So Anthony, we are very excited and happy to have you again today, and we look forward to having you again in the future as well, of course. And thank you for spending your Friday evening with us today. So yeah, Anthony, over to you.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to be the part of Trainers Tribe and also work in coordination, collaboration with Quest Alliance. Am I audible, I hope?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So I am sharing my screen. So I hope that.
Yes, we can see the screen.
So, sorry. So today, the session that I will be taking and all sharing with you all is basically the development goal, sustainable development goal 5, what it is all about, what is the government talking about that, and is it the only responsibility of the government, since most of you who attend the Trainer Tribes are from educational institutions. So my whole presentation will be that how can a school or an educational institutions, be it a training institute or any secondary or primary school, do the school also can play an important role to see that this sustainable development goal 5 is achieved. But beyond that sustainable development goal also, can our country have such a space, a place where there is gender equality, where people are not discriminated or violated on the basis of gender. So this is what will be my presentation. Is it okay that I talk only in English, or should I also mix it with Hindi? What do others say?
Is there anyone who would require Hindi translation? You can let us know in the comment box. Otherwise, I think we are good to go with English.
Okay.
Yeah, English is fine. Okay, sure. Sure. Anthony, we can go ahead with English.
Okay.
Okay.
So, my name is Anthony. I work in Indo Global Social Service Society. Yeah, just to tell about IGSS is based out of Delhi and works around 8 to 9 states, basically on livelihood, urban poverty reduction, disaster risk reduction, and on the issue of gender and youth. So gender is one of the very important thing for IGSS, and also this Trainer Tribe session is on gender. So I'm interested to share my views. My views and the views are based on my working experiences, talking to different people throughout my professional career. So I may be fully right, I may be fully wrong. So it's my opinion. So if anybody wants to share their views, please always share it in the chat box. And if you want to speak also, you can raise your hand, and the people who are coordinating or helping me in facilitating from Quest Alliance can unmute you and you can talk about that. So to start with is that we have 17 goals, as you all know, Sustainable Development Goal. And if you see all the goals are basically no poverty, zero hunger. It's about clean water. It's about gender. It's about education. It's about health. It's about economic growth. It's about clean energy, infrastructure, reduced inequalities. The goal number 10, if you see. It's also about sustainable cities. It's also about responsible consumption and production. And huge effort is on climate action and climate change, basically related with water, land, air. And also at the end, if you see 16, the peace, justice, and strong institutions. And also partnership. But with all these, why I have taken the issue of gender equality is because in every aspect in a country like India, or when we are in India, we'll talk about India, gender-based discrimination and gender-based violence and gender-based equality and inequality is one of the prime importance to talk about, because we are socialized in a society where there is a lot of gender discrimination happening. And if we talk about clean energy, decent work, or sustainable cities, or responsible consumption, or climate action, everywhere gender is required, gender is mainstreamed. So that's why this gender equality. And if you see the gender equality as per the Sustainable Development Goal, it is aimed all forms of discrimination and eliminate all forms of violence against all women and girls everywhere. So one of the things is that we have to end all forms of discrimination and also see that there is no violence against all women and girls. So this is the major focus of this gender equality goal 5. One of the things is that this goal do talk about only men and women. So here the goal is very binary. It only divides gender into male and female. But I also want to tell you that if we can move beyond this gender definition into more of the gender is not binary. It's not always male and female and masculine and feminine. It can be mixed. So gender is fluid. So there are transgenders, there are different other forms of gender which are there, LGBTQ community. So when I will be talking about gender here today, I'll not only be talking about male and female, but also the whole gamut of gender orientations, the non-conforming gender roles or genders in the society. So I'll be talking about that also. So that will be an addition to that. Having said that, you should know that who is responsible or accountable for Sustainable Development Goal. So in any country, it is the government of the country. So in India, because the government of the country have signed the SDG goal, have agreed that SDG goal will be achieved in a timeline. So accordingly, they will make laws, policies, and everything. So the government of the country is the responsible or accountable person, accountable body or organization or a point person in a country. The whole goal of Sustainable Development Goal and also Indian constitutions or the government of the country is that leaving no one behind. So nobody should be left behind. Everybody who is marginalized, who is discriminated, should not be marginalized, should not be discriminated, and everybody should find space for freedom, life, and dignity in this country. Is that the major goal of a Sustainable Development Goal, as well as the constitution of the country also provides that platform to us. In India, Niti Aayog is the nodal agency in India who is a nodal agency who takes care of to support government in ensuring that Sustainable Development Goals are achieved. And if in a frequent time, each country should come up with a voluntary national review, VNR they call it, wherein the government of the country, India, also comes up with VNR report and submits it to the United Nations, saying that how much we have achieved in the Sustainable Development Goal. So if you go to Niti Aayog website, there is a place called SDG, and if you click that SDG part, then you will find all these VNR report and also YouTube. So in that way, you will understand that what is the government stand or what is the country doing to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal. So at a whole, I want to say that the government of the country is responsible and accountable to ensure that the SDG is achieved. But today's discussion, what I am talking you about on Sustainable Development Goal 5, I'm trying to say that it is the responsibility of the government, but also it is the responsibility of the society and basically the education institutions, because any children spends a lot of time in family and in school. So if you are talking about gender equality, it is about the socialization, it is about the mentality that the children start developing, and when they become big, they showcase whatever they have learned, or they articulate those things that they have learned on the basis of the understanding that they have got from school and family about gender. So that's why today's discussion today that I will be sharing you is basically on what is the role to achieve this Sustainable Development Goal 5 for the schools. So if you see the VNR report of 2020 or 2019, sorry, the government says that around 381 million bank accounts are opened by women. So financial inclusion is happening in the country in a good way. The government also tells that in 2017, 77% have women's access. 77% of women have access to bank accounts. So you can understand that from 43% in 2014, it has rose to 77%. So women are having at least some access to finances. So they are having an account where they are saving or they are having transaction through bank. Government also says that 75% of beneficiaries under Mudra Yojana, which is basically giving credit to the small and medium enterprises, are women. If you see the sex ratio at birth in 2015-17, it is 896, which is not very good, but that's the figure that the government shares. In 2019, 14.4% of women participation in lower house of the National Parliament has been recorded. So there is some level of women's political participation happening at the national level. 35% of directors of any startups in India now are women. So these are the some data that I'm sharing about that how women are moving into financial empowerment or political empowerment, and they have access to the credits fund, because in a country like India, there are two things which the patriarchal society have denied to women. One is education, access to education, and another is access to finance. Any person, be it male or female, if these two things are denied, the person becomes dependent and the person is not empowered. So to become empowered, the person should be educated, that means knowledge and finance. These are two important things for a person to become empowered. So these two things were not given to women in a country like India. So we had to fight, our forefathers had to fight that women should be included in school for women education. And also it was decided that women will marry and get dependent on, when not married, dependent on brother and father, and when married, then financially be dependent on their husband. But that has also changed. And now this is the figure that you see. But to a large extent, if you see the other things also in the society for India, you will see that 1 in 3 women have experienced some form of physical or sexual violence in their lifetimes. I mean, you can understand that so many women, if you are traveling by bus, if you are traveling by metro, walking on the street, it's not only sexual violence or physical violence, it is also mentally tortured in a way by eve teasing, by touching. So many ways of violence or women are violated. Women feel very unsafe. 65.46% of the women are literate as to compare to 82.14% of men. This might have a little bit increased, but still women are less literate than men. Though there is right to education, which tells that women and men have full right to go for education, but still you can understand the literacy rate is not equal. Enrollment of girls in primary education is 100%, but when we go to higher education, then we find that 74.6% are only enrolled. So you can understand that, okay, now the primary education women have accessed, but for higher education, till now, women are lagging behind. Women hold only 11% of seats in the Lok Sabha and 46% in Panchayat Raj institutions. And in a country where majority of them are men and women, I mean, half are 50-50 if we see also. But still women representation in political field where decision makings are made, the policies are made, women participation, women role in political platforms are very less. Even in Panchayat, we all know that how men overpowers the women decision, even if women is heading that Panchayat. Sex ratio has been 919 for 100,000 boys. Now, why this is less? Why not 1,000 boys is having 1,000 boys and 1,000 girls? Why the sex ratio is not equal? We all know. I don't have to say, but that's how the society looks. That girl child is a burden, and what happens to the girl child in the womb and afterwards, we have seen the nutritional level and all. Why it happens? It's all because of socialization process. And many things are there. But one of the issue is also the way how we perceive about a girl child, that how they are treated in comparison to a male child. 48.5% population of women, but only 27.4% women are in workforce. And recently I was talking to some of my friends who were telling that during COVID, because the schools are closed and children are at home, so even if the workplace have been open, women don't want to join or cannot join because the taking care of the children is becoming the prime responsibility of women, not of men. So many of the women, even if they have job, they are resigning. So you can understand that lot of effort had been given for women to participate in workforce, but because of COVID, it is going back. So this is somewhat the data, maybe here and there increase or decrease, but this is the picture that I want to show, that the society in our country is such that we are not gender equal. There are a lot of things where male are ahead of us and women are lagging behind. And that's where the responsibility does not lie only with government, but also with each one of us in whichever area or wherever we work. We have to ensure that we are working for gender equality, even starting with our own child, in our own family. These are some of the things that that women bear additional household burdens during the pandemic. This COVID have really made the society again unequal, and women already spend about 3 times as many hours in unpaid domestic and care work as men, as you know. And pandemic, that has increased a lot. They are also working from home 24 hours now and also taking care of the family, and the whole family is in the house because of during the lockdown. So taking care of the in-laws, parents, children, husband. So it has really increased the burden of work for women. Also, lockdown are increasing, and there are a lot of reports where we have seen, and it is the data proves that their cases of domestic violence have also increased in some countries, and India also it has increased. Even the National Commission for Women also have come up with a report that yes, the domestic violence have increased. So you can understand that actually, even if the women, we have fought for women empowerment, but the women's situation is very, very bad. It's really alarming. If we are not worried about this, then I don't know for what we should be worried about. Our sister, our um, our family members, our office space, everywhere the women are not in a very good situation. Anybody have anything to share till now, whatever I have shared? Because otherwise it is very monotonous, as if only I am speaking. So anybody wants to share some reflection, one or two? Am I audible, I hope?
Yes, you are audible on Anton. Is there anyone who is sitting with any thoughts or opinions so far? Please feel free to let us know. In case you are not able to unmute yourself, I can unmute you, or feel free to put it in the chat box as well. Nivedita says, wonderful presentation. Please continue.
So
Thank you,
having said,
Nivedita. Yeah.
So having said that, the VNR report of the government comes up with this way forward. It is the government's recommendation or challenges and way forward that says strengthening gender disaggregated data. Really, on the basis of gender, there are a lot of data which is not available, like how many women are really doing a business, what is the savings that the women really have. A lot of such data which is not available, and for that we cannot say, or we can, because data is important for policy making. So how many women are actually being like discriminated or facing violence, which category of women, which age of women, the data are there but not satisfactory, for which we can make a very gender based policies. It's the government also says, and we all who work in social field, we know that. The second point that they suggest is improving economic and political participation of women. It also says women access to resources and also promoting women entrepreneurship. So whatever it says, it is not my recommendation, it's a recommendation of the way forward shared by the government. And I know we all agree, the women who are today participating, we all know that how difficult it is for a woman to stand for a political participation and how easy it is for men. In comparison to men, a women politician, it takes longer time, it takes longer struggle. Women access to resources, I mean, it's really challenging that women access to land, women access to money, women access to knowledge, women access to simple villages. Today, when everything is online, to women access to internet is also a big question. And promoting women entrepreneurship is what we all want, but do women do women have that facilities, connections, resources to do that? Means to go to bank and access credit for a woman is so difficult. So these are the challenges, and this is what I'm sharing it now for you all to just to see. But now when I give my focus more on educational institutions, these are some of the 4 questions we should ask. What is the role of education institutions in ensuring gender equality? Very important question we should reflect. Is education institutions' role is only to see the children join the institution and we give them education and give them marks and they pass in flying colors, and that is the only thing that should include in our pedagogy? Or we should look beyond that. Our education process geared towards change from change which is more of patriarchal to more of a gender equality society, is do our education, our process of training, our process of education, or even the subjects that we teach, are they all geared up towards this change, or we only give knowledge? Not also knowledge, just to make them a literate person, not an educated person. So is our institution geared up for that? Are education institution conscious of this responsibility? Do education institution think that we should work for gender equality, or education institute thinks कि ये तो मेरा जिम्मेदारी नहीं है, ये समाज का जिम्मेदारी है, सरकार का जिम्मेदारी है? Do they have the necessary ability to make the pedagogy gender responsive? Whatever curriculum, what are the processes with which our teachers teaches in the school, are they really gender responsive? Means if a teacher in the school or the education institution or the trainer have very gender biased outlook, how will he or she really bring a gender responsive behavior? Simple example, if I get angry and I use slangs which are more gender derogatory outside my school when I talk with my friends, if I'm very patriarch, then how will I be gender equal in a school? And that will definitely reflect in the process, in the way I treat the students and I teach. So education caters to an age group which is critical for identity formation. So children who comes to college, who comes to secondary school, who comes for vocational training to different institution, they are at a very critical stage for their identity formation, for developing critical skill of decision making. And this is the stage when they move from childhood to adulthood. They have a lot of questions. And if you see, there are a lot of questions based on their identity as a male, as a woman, as a transgender, as a community from an LGBT community, or about their orientation, about the need of being loved. So that is all that the hormonal change happens. And beside getting knowledge and education, these are also things that are strongly developing, and the personality is developed. And at that stage, maximum time they give to the school, to the friends of the school, with the teachers. And if the educational institutions are not geared up for this, I doubt that only government cannot play an important role for gender equality. And that's why I'm going with targets and indicators. The first target of gender equality is that end all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere. And I'm stressing it everywhere. Everywhere includes educational institutions also. So my questions to the group is that, who are from the school or from any educational institutions, or even from NGOs or from any other institutions, do those institutions have gender policy and internal complaint committee where a girl or a woman can go and raise a question that I have been violated or I have been discriminated, I want justice? Do our school think that we should have a gender policy? And if there is a gender policy, how is that gender policy accessed by everyone? If I know my organization have a gender policy, but I've never read it, I don't know where it is, then it is equal to having no gender policy. Are our teachers given gender sensitive training, that how our male behaves or thinks or perceives about women? I know many teachers who say, लड़की लोग तो मैथ्स में अच्छा नहीं होता है, लड़की है ना, इसको नहीं आता है. अच्छा लड़का है, ठीक है, ये थोड़ा सा दौड़ लेगा, ऐसा कर लेगा, तुम जाओ इधर. So the way we behave or the comments that we pass, how much are we very sensitive about this gender equality? Do our teachers have this gender sensitive training time to time? Because teachers come from the society which are very patriarchal. We all come from a society, we are socialized in that way. Are they assessed? Are the teachers assessed on the basis of the gender sensitive knowledge, or only because he can teach very well or he has a very authoritative and very good administrative skill, so they are assessed, okay, the teachers are good? Or is it that there is one criteria also, that whether they are being assessed on the basis, or they are promoted, or their everything depends, the promotion depends on gender sensitive knowledge or behavior. Is there any legal framework in the education institution which monitors equality in recruitment of teachers and admission of students? Do the school decides that, okay, my school is a co-education school and I should have 50% girls and 50% boys? Do any education institution have such type of policy, and they genuinely do that? Or are they worried when they find that the girl enrollment or admission in my school or in my college or in my vocational training institution is less, and do they take an extra effort to include girls, or in the way of include transgenders in our school and colleges? I don't think. We are not very serious about that. The audience can tell whether we are serious or not. What is the mechanism of education institutions, or in the education institution, which takes care of any kind of gender-based discrimination, violence? Is there any mechanism wherein a girl or a women teacher can go and say that, yes, I have been discriminated and I need somebody to give justice? What is the framework under which a teacher corrects gendered action among students? In a class, there may be boys and girls sitting, and a particular boy student may behave or act in such a way which is not gender friendly. Is there a framework where teacher can call him, talk to him, counsel him, talk to his parents that this behavior is wrong, or where is this behavior coming from? So if we want to end all forms of discrimination against all women and girls everywhere, education institution should minimum these 5 questions that I have raised should reflect and should see. The number two target is that eliminate all forms of violence against women. One is discrimination, the other is violence, physical violence, including trafficking or sexual exploitations and everything. You know, young girls who comes to our school face all kinds of gender violence also. I mean, there are a lot of stories where a girl and boy fall into a love relationship, and maybe girl ignores the boy, and we know there are many incidents happening everywhere. We hear some news wherein boy may get angry and then in a way may not have direct violence but disturbs the girl through telephonic call, SMS, WhatsApp, or force her to do something. There are a lot of incidents that happens in the school premise. So do the education institution have a system to collect all this data? That how many girls who have come have experienced violence in their home or in the school or outside? Do the education institution provide safe space of students to come and share? If suppose a girl has faced violence, sexual abuse, or has faced any kind of violence from teacher, student, or family, can they come and share with any of the teacher and feel safe to share? Do the students perceive the teachers in the education institutions are the right person to discuss about the violence? So, education institutions have to play a major role, and their policies and their teachers decide their subject qualification. They also have to see that the teachers that I'm recruiting, are they capable to provide that safe space to the students? Then only our school and institution will become the next generation school or a smart school. The third target for goal 5 is eliminate all harmful practices like child marriage, early marriage, forced marriage, or female genital mutilations that happens. So to eliminate that. Because this all happens in the society, do our education institution take stand if there are any harmful activities against the children of the school by their family and community? If the school knows that a girl child in my school has been forced to get married by the family, do the school take a stand, talk to the family, or intervene, or do the school say it's not our role, it is the role of the family, we don't fall into that? So what are the mechanisms? Some education institution may have stand, but I'm raising this question for the education institution or the teachers to reflect on. If they have, very good. If they take stand, it is very good. If not, then what can be the mechanism to take stand? The target 5 talks about full participation and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership. And the leadership role, we are talking about role of women in parliament, in local government, can only start if the girl child is being motivated to take the leadership role in the school. So do we in the school, do we have a criteria, very conscious criteria, that whichever leadership role there will be in the school, if it is like 10 leadership roles we have in the school, 50% will be given to women, to the girl students. Because if you motivate the girl students from the school itself, then only that women tomorrow will have a big dream, that girl will have a big dream to lead a village, to lead a state, to lead a country. So the motivation and the aspiration of the girl child should be coming from the school. So do the educators motivate? And the second thing, do our teachers share specific women leaders story to the students? We talk about Gandhiji, we talk about Netaji, they are all very good, but they are all male. How many schools have a picture, or the teachers consciously read and find out women leaders who are in modern leaders or past leaders who were economists, who were entrepreneurs, who were political leaders, who were panchayat leaders, who have really done, local leaders. Their name may not be in the books or in the history, but they have really shown the leadership quality. Do we ever talk about or share about women leaders to our school students, so that school students idealize that, okay, I want to become like this women leader? If it is not happening, I think educators have to take a special, they have to really do a research study that in my city, in my village, who are those women leaders? And how do I, when I teach leadership, how do I bring these women leaders in the school, and women leaders talks, interacts, and that gives motivation and inspiration. And if that is inspired at the school level, that, or the college level, or the education or the vocational training institution, then only tomorrow those women will see a bigger dream. Because men are always motivated and told from the childhood कि तुम्हें नौकरी करना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें परिवार देखना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें IAS ऑफिसर बनना पड़ेगा, तुम्हें ऐसा बनना पड़ेगा. That is like the whole family talks to the boy child like that. But with the girl child they speak, तुम अच्छा बनो, शादी करोगे तो कैसे देखोगे, केयर कैसे करोगे, ये सीखो, खाना पकाना सीखो, ये करो, वो करो. But that all related with family. Very few family may have exceptional cases, but most of the family directly or indirectly tell our girl child or the teachers also that तुम्हें अच्छा नाच सीखना होगा, गाना सीखना होगा, अच्छा परिवार देखना होगा, अच्छा से पढ़ो ताकि तुम अच्छा लड़का मिले तुम्हें शादी के. But we should move out of that and help the women or the girl child to see that they have also a major role as a managerial position. They can also become a manager, entrepreneur, leader. So that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. So with this, I end my sharing with you all. But if you have any question, any sharing, not question, I may not have answer to all your question, but if you relate with what I have said, then can you just share your views, your reflection points? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. That was very, very, very insightful, I would say. So there are two comments that are pending right now. So one is from Padma. Would you want me to read, or would you see yourself?
Yes, I can read that one.
Sure.
The question is quite engaging and thought-provoking. We have a long way to go towards gender equality. As individuals, we can be more aware and do our bit. Exactly, Padma, I agree with you. We have a long way to go for gender equality. Means we men think हम लोग तो महिलाओं को आगे बढ़ाया है, बोला है, but it's But just think from the perspective of women. I always think from that, from a perspective of women. Um, Still now, women feels very unsafe. Large gender women feels very unsafe to be at the political situations or be an entrepreneur. They have a lot of inhibitions. नहीं करूंगा तो पति क्या बोलेगा, माँ क्या बोलेगी, बच्चों को नहीं देखूंगा तो क्या होगा, मेरा परिवार है, मेरा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है खाना पकाना, परिवार देखना, मैं कैसे करूंगी, नहीं कर पाऊंगी. All those things. I agree with you, and we all have to do our bit. We should be aware. I agree with you, Padma. Thank you so much. And then Nivedita says about encouraging women leadership across sectors is also the need of the hour. It is, and that the education institution and we all have to play a major role in that. Yeah, any more reflection from anybody? Just a reflection.
There is one from Mary. She has just posted now.
Can you read it out? I cannot see this.
Yes. It says, it is true, it is the right time that the educational institutions and vocational centers have to focus on the gender leadership. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you, Mary. Our education minister, that's why I think APJ Abdul Kalam, once I read, and he said that there are two institutions who can really play a major role for anything. Good thing is a school and a family. So education centers or vocational centers, beside teaching them just to give them, to make them literate or skill based, but to change the attitude of a gender equality is something that education institutional vocational centers have to focus on. In everything that they teach, they should have the lens of a gender. Otherwise, it is difficult.
Nivedita, would you like to share? I see your hand raised. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so very much. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the host team and Anthony Ji for sharing such a brilliant presentation, very apt and very, very pertinent points you've put across. And I personally feel that educational institutions, they play a very, very major role in kind of shaping the personality of individuals. Because it's right at the impressionist stage that educational, kind of education institutions are associated with an individual. And what I also feel is that sensitization is required at two levels. One is at the level of the students, and the other is at the level of teachers as well. As you very rightly pointed out, that the teachers have to be very sensitive towards gender equality, and then only can they bring about a change. And I also somehow feel that there needs to be a close collaboration between the educational institutions with various other stakeholders also. For example, voluntary organizations could be one. Media also plays a very important role. And unfortunately, the kind of content that we see right now these days on television, on the daily soaps, which the children are kind of are kind of exposed to, doesn't really kind of showcase a very positive picture. And that's where I think educational institutions can surely play a very important role in kind of doing media sensitization also towards the cause of gender equality. And perhaps Anthony, perhaps you could also throw some light on what exactly you think educational institutions and media could possibly collaborate together and kind of work on this.
I agree with you, Nivedita. I'm so thankful for your so nice and kind words. And also that I know you as a passionate for gender. So I agree with you that it is not only education institute, only teacher and student, but they need to collaborate not only with media, simple like collaborating with police, because the gender discrimination and violence, women can go to the police, but many a time we have a very wrong notion, or that has been created truly or falsely by police institutions, where we feel very scared. So from childhood, if we are shown that okay, police is for you, protect you, they have these laws, they are the custodian of the laws, and they can do that with the judge, with lawyers, and in the same way with media, as you rightly said, that the children, after they go home, they see the cartoon or they see serials, or they or they see news or any kind of now the Netflix and everything's are there, where things are like things happening in the media, what is right, what is wrong, what is shown, and how much it is gender equality, how much it is gender discrimination, the languages which are used, and teachers should correct it. See, this is being shown in the film, but actually this is shown because of this, it's not this, or it is wrong. What do you think about that? So teachers should also use lot of such media-based group works wherein teachers can say that this is what a story in the media has been shown. What do you think? And the student talks about that, and teacher gives them a correct perspective. So it is required.
Yeah, right. I agree with you completely on that. That was my point exactly, that we need to have such kind of discussions open between teachers and students where such topics could be taken and kind of addressed. Thank you.
So Manojji talks about that sensitization on gender equality required at a various level and at student, teachers, parents, at society levels, and I believe school plays an important role in ensuring it. Padma also says that my nephew and nieces are enrolled in football classes. For some period of time, my nieces were the only young girls in the group. Later, in few more girls joined. I found football coach very encouraging toward the girl student. A small, smart, but could go a long way in encouraging girl children to join fields of their interest. Exactly. Give our regards to that football coach. Can you please share a few ideas and ways on ensuring at school level? See, I feel at school level, Manojji, the teachers, whoever you are recruiting or whoever is recruiting the teachers, the criteria, one of the major criteria should be that how much gender sensitized that teacher is. If not, then the school should have a proper, that if the teacher joins in the induction process, the teacher will be sensitized on gender issues, and that sensitization should not stop only during induction, but it should have a like continuous process of a refresher course for the teachers, that how a teacher should be and gender sensitive, or how gender issues comes in the classes, then how should a teacher handle, how should a teacher correct, how should a teacher give a right perspective about male, female, transgender, and other things, because this is the time when the children goes through that identity, forming their own identity. So one of the idea is this. The other idea is that teachers, as Mama Nivedita ji said, that teachers should be taken exposure visit to some NGOs who are working on gender equality, on gender-based discrimination, on stopping gender-based violence. The teacher should be given also a training on laws, on different kind of orders that the court have passed on gender equality. So teachers should not only be focused, okay, I'm teaching English and I should only learn about that and finish. But my orientation, a teacher's orientation, perspective, which are being formed from a socialization process of a society which is highly patriarchal, to unlearn and relearn all those things, school should have a very structured program. And that program, they should collaborate with NGOs or organizations which works with things. So these are some of the suggestions. And also, there should the teachers, whatever, if I'm teaching Macbeth, so suppose in English I'm teaching them a Macbeth story, or I'm teaching about science, something, how do I relate it also with gender? uh, and ask questions about gender reflections on those issues. When I'm teaching a literature, a story, if there are something, the stories are talking about gender issues, how do I connect it with it present? So I feel my idea is that the teacher should have their subject in one hand, and in the other hand, the present tool of how to change the gender perspective. So if the teacher goes with these two ways, and the school also help the teachers and makes it mandatory for the teachers to look it from gender lens, gender perspective, a lot of things can happen. Did I answer to you, Mr. Manoj? If not, then you can share your thanks. Okay. Yes, Azhar, would you like to share something? The thing is that, like in this session also, we have around 15 people. It was given to a lot of people shared. 15 people have come, but in 15 people also, people find it very hard to share, reflect. Very few people reflect, discuss, because these are the things. Now it has become, sometimes I feel it has become, people have become like insensitive. Okay, चलता है, जेंडर के बारे में बात हो रहा है, पर ठीक है, जैसा चलेगा वैसे चलेगा. So this type of hopelessness also exists in the society, where people like all of us, 15 people who have joined, who should constantly remind society that no, the society is still unequal for gender, any kind of gender, male, female, another form of gender. We all have to work hard. We have to talk it very seriously. We have to talk it in every forum possible, passionately. Then only things will change.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anyone else who would like to share? We still have few more minutes. So yeah, feel free to raise your hand or use the chat box. I can unmute you. And since we're very less in number, I think it's a great space for discussion.
कोई भी अगर आप लोग अनम्यूट करके आपका अपना एक्सपीरियंस जेंडर इश्यूज के ऊपर स्कूल में या अपने परिवार में आप शेयर करना चाहते हो, जिसके ऊपर हमें बात कहना चाहिए, सोचना चाहिए.
Hello, Mr. Anthony.
Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can
First
you
of all, I want to thank you and congratulate you for your very informative presentation.
Thank you.
My query, since I also feel that this gender inequality is very sensitive topic. So I just want to know whether there is any government at the center, the state level, have taken it very seriously at the school level. Any state government have any kind of policy regarding it? Any school have this kind of committee where they are regularly reviewing it and sharing their meeting minute with the state and central government, so that any corrective actions can be taken? Because as per our today's presentation, your presentation and the inputs from the participant, it says that gender equality at the school level, gender equality can be ensured if students, teachers, parents, society can sensitize in a better way. So if any kind of, can you please highlight any kind of example here with all of us, uh, uh, any kind of state government who is doing it very good and which can be taken as a role model and can replicate with other schools or a state government?
Manoj, if you ask me of any state, I don't have at present any example wherein specific has been done. But I can tell you that the central government and many of the state government, and I think with the new education policy also, things are improving. And also the POSH law, the Prevention of Sexual Harassment, also talks about that this institution should have an internal complaint committees and everything. But till now, I have not come across any school which has done a specific, like a model which can be like replicated and all. But I know my knowledge is very less because my exposure may not be so much. But I think Quest Alliance, if they can say, because they work with education institutions, do you if they can share? But at present, I don't have any example to say, sir. I'm sorry for that.
Thank you for your response, sir. Because why I highlight this, because I also visited a couple of schools, whether it's a government or a private, and I am not even able to see any kind of such committee.
Exactly.
Plus, if the committee is not there, even the teachers, principals, the parents of the students are even not talking about that. Even in the school management committee, they normally talk about the marks of the student and what kind of improvement the student can do to have good marks. No discussion on the gender equality. And if we are talking about the sustainable development goals, so at the ground level or the grassroots level, if we are not putting even a single effort in the right direction, so it's very tough to get those objective at a larger spectrum.
Yes, I
So
agree.
this is my concern. So I just want to highlight it to you. Thank you so much.
Very so much. And Nivedita also writes a very pertinent point, Manojji, and I also feel it's a very pertinent point. And I think one of our way forward, we individually try to find out whether there is any school or whether we can motivate or we can talk to the school through some basic networking or something like that to ensure that this happens. And I agree with you, Manojji.
And I like your idea, sir. We do not need a parallel thing. We just need to sensitize our teachers because they are more change maker and influencers in the life of students as well as the parents. And if they can relate their subjects with the stories, case studies, where they can ensure gender equality kind of thing, and they can pass on these kind of ideas to the students that, you have to very focus about the gender equality. That is also have a very developmental factor in this idea. So I like this from your side. Thank you.
If I could touch you in that way and touch all, at least 15 of you, and we all work together in our own space, I think we can bring about change. Thank you, Manoj.
Thank you for such a wonderful discussion around here. Is there anyone who would like to throw in your opinion, thoughts? Anyone else? Okay, I think we are good to go then. Yeah, really thank you so much for making it so engaging, everyone, for participating it throughout. Also, Anthony, thank you very much for coming and speaking us to the second time. And also, we definitely look forward to you coming and speaking to us in the future also, especially for a topic as important as this. I think we need to have regular discussion. So yeah, thank you very much for making it so engaging and so insightful. And also everyone on this call here for making it so engaging and for actually coming up and speaking your opinions, your thoughts. Yeah. And I definitely look forward to having you all again for the next master class, which will be on Friday again in Zoom. And if you are not yet part of Trainer Tribe, please feel free to join us. We are on Facebook. I can share you the link. This is the link to Trainer Tribe. So you will get update all about future master classes and also important content that we curate and we share. So yeah, please feel free to be part of Trainer Tribe. The link is on the chat box.
Thanks a lot to everyone and also Quest Alliance for being here and listening to me. I'm really grateful that this is my small efforts to reach out to people, to see that my contribution to motivate and my contribution to passionately urge all of you for a gender safe space in this country. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you. Yes, definitely, Anthony. And also anyone who wants to have this conversation further, please feel free to reach out to Anthony also. And he'll also be on us with us on Trainer Tribe. So you can reach out to him and have this conversation even beyond this session. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to Anthony anytime.
So I have shared my email ID. So anybody want to write or share or anything that they have done, it will enhance my knowledge.
Sure. Yeah. So Anthony's email ID is on the chat box. In case you would like to reach out to him directly and have conversations further, please feel free to reach out to him. Yeah. And with this, thank you everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. It was such a great time today, spending this Friday evening with you all. And have a great weekend. I will see you again for the next masterclass. Um, so for that, please feel free to join us on Trainer Tribe, where you will get all the updates. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend.